All right, you all. Thank you for dropping all of the emojis. We're going to bring our next speaker on. He is patiently waiting in the background and the virtual backstage for you all. I believe he can actually hear me speaking and he's waiting patiently to come on with you all. I didn't get a chance to go over the schedule because we were short on time, but this next speaker needs no introduction. I'm going to give him one anyway because he is that big of a person, that big of a personality on social media. His name is Joshua, and he's going to talk to us about building an off-grid eco village. He currently resides in Ghana right now, and I appreciate him for being here. He is also someone I met on my Indigenous travel journeys. So I'm going to go ahead and bring Joshua on the stage. Give me one moment. Okay, Joshua, bring you from backstage to the main stage. All right, so as Joshua is joining us again on socials, there he goes. Hey, Joshua, how are you?
I'm very good. I'm very good. How you all doing?
I'm good. What time is it over there?
Say again.
What time is it over there?
It's 7:30 right here in the evening, so we have a night light. We have
Okay,
a
we
night
like a little
situation going
ambiance.
on.
Totally cool. We love ambiance. I will say, I
That's
do want
what
to
that's what I got. That's what I could do.
say, no, we love it. I do want to say, you all, again, give it up for Joshua for being here because as you all can see his shoulder, he did recently just have surgery like 2 days ago. And he came here
Literally,
for you
literally.
all. Literally, anesthesia is still wearing off. And he
Literally, I'm just coming out of anesthesia. So in case I need a little break every now and then, be patient with me. But we're gonna get there.
much gratitude for you being here, Joshua, post surgery. I think it's a little crazy, but I get it. You're here.
We're here.
Without
We're
further
here. We day. We
ado,
day.
Joshua, are you still in India right now, Joshua?
Yes, I was actually in Bali just last few weeks ago, and then I came to India. I did a surgery right now. Still here. I'm gonna be here for a few more weeks.
Okay. Well, thank you for
Mm.
answering that. Joshua, go ahead and take it away.
Thank you very much. Thank you. All right. So, I mean, already Ebro gave a little bit of an introduction. My name is Joshua Kwaku Asiedu. For those who don't know me, I'm gonna introduce myself again, maybe a little bit more in details, not too many details, but for those who don't know me, once again, my name is Joshua Asiedu. I was born and raised in Italy from an Italian mother and a Ghanaian father. I was born in Milan, in the province of Milan, and my mother coming from Napoli, the south of Italy. My father coming from the Aquapen Mountains, a beautiful area in the eastern region of Ghana. I was brought up in Italy until at the age of 20 was I felt it was time for me to explore, yes, the world, but especially myself. I felt to go for, I would also say, an anthropological journey. I was very curious about what was going on around the world. Especially, I was questioning: is this type of life that I'm living the life that should be lived? Is this norm that I'm facing the norm for humanity overall, or there's something beyond that? And so, at the age of 20, I left. I went on this journey, a very kind of in-depth journey that ended up allowing me and giving me also the privilege to meet so many different people, indigenous communities, and environment from where I learned a lot from, incredibly a lot from. All this journey, by the way, was self-sponsored, going in certain places, working here, working there. Sometimes, relying not necessarily on money. I was challenging my norm. I was challenging, like, do I need a bed? Do I need a tent? Do I need a hostel? Do I need a guest house? Sometimes sleeping, very often actually sleeping under the stars, sleeping on earth, having earth as my bed and the stars as my ceiling, so to speak. And this journey eventually allowed me to understand a few different things, and was clear for me that there was no chance that this type of model of social development could have been worked for humanity, but also for Earth. I felt, and I could see clearly also nowadays scientifically, that a new model needed to be created. And so I decided to go for this new model. And this new model was nothing new in reality. It was what Earth always gave us ever since we started to walk on this Earth, which is nature, which is the natural way. So I was scouting for a piece of land. Long story short, my great grandparents in Ghana left land in heritage, and so I moved there. The land was very foresty, was a bush, and so with a machete, like one of those foldable beds, and a tarp just in case for the rain, and a bucket. I moved in there and I started to create literally, my eco village, step by step, day after day. The journey didn't start from perfection whatsoever. I was doubting myself every day, thinking if it was the right path, thinking if it was the right land. But eventually it became what it became. And it's been now years that I've been sharing this natural knowledge with hundreds of people, thousands, millions of people, even if I consider the online world, about the natural way. And it's been a true, beautiful journey of blessing, of challenges, and yeah, and a whole, I don't even know how to describe this beauty that I managed to receive from life itself, from nature itself. But what I want to share with you today is the basically, it's not necessarily, I'm aware that this is like an herbal conference, but today I'm not necessarily going to be focusing talking about the healing properties of some herbs or some types of herbs. Mainly I would like to be focused on the healing properties of earth, because in the end, where all these herbs are coming from, all these herbs, like even like nowadays, there are so many different communities. There are so many different spread around the world. There are so many spiritual communities, so many environmental communities, vegan communities, nutritional communities, herbal medicine communities. Yet, how many of us are truthfully connecting to the soil? How many of us are actually reconnecting to the land? And so this is where all of this spiritualism, environmentalism, medicine, all of this is all coming from the soil. And so food, what type of diet you have or you don't, everything eventually is coming from the soil. Yet we are still in need to reconnect physically, philosophically, and also emotionally to the land. I give thanks for all this movement that are taking place, for all this awareness that is increasing. In the meantime, nowadays, now more than ever, we really need a connection, a direct, radical connection to the soil. When I say radical, I mean it for what it means. I explain many times on my social media what I mean by radical, and literally means, the word radical comes from the Latin word radix, which literally means roots. So I'm talking about going back to the roots. I'm talking about literally creating a change that allowed us to go back to the roots of humanity, to the roots of nature, and also to the roots of problems. If we see a society, or if we see anything that doesn't work, let's say even a tree, if a tree is toxic, if we see the fruits of a tree not being healthy, we are not going to work on the fruit. We're going to work on the roots. So we need to do with any type of problems that we face in the world, likewise with this type of society. So today I would like to challenge, sorry, I need a sip of water. I feel a little bit dizzy, so be patient. I'm coming. I need most of my left because my right is not that movable.
I did want to interject while you take a break, Joshua, and I want to
Okay.
circle back. I don't think I gave you a proper introduction because I wanted to bring you on, but I wanted to state that Joshua actually was a part of my first retreat in Africa, in Ghana. And
Mhm.
we actually journeyed to Joshua's off-grid eco village in the bush. Okay. And that eco village that Joshua created was absolutely amazing. He built everything there by his hand, from his home to all the structures. He planted the trees, everything we ate from his land. Everything we ate from the retreat came from his land, and we learned about herbs on his land. He has herbs there growing and fruit trees growing, and we learned about herbs from a local auntie from the village. And so the reason why I wanted to bring Joshua to this conference was because he created something that so many of us desire to have. I actually currently discovered I live in a food forest. Joshua currently created by hand his own off-grid eco-village and food forest on his land. And again, we stayed there for 2.5 days, and all of us were city girls. We were all city girls.
You
I
guys
say
were.
when I say that
We
everybody
vibe.
loved it. We honestly went there and we were like, this is home. And so I knew that I wanted to bring Joshua here to this conference to give you all a step-by-step practical guide on how you can do that, how you can create your own off-grid paradise food forest with indigenous herbs and plants. So even though he's not, directly, or he doesn't say he's an herbalist, I say anyone who works with herbs, you're a herb worker. This session will
Mhm.
show you how to bring the herbs to you if you want to do what he's doing, if you want to do what I'm doing. So I had to give you your right introduction. So sorry about that.
Appreciate that. Appreciate it. So yeah, so basically today what I wanted to do basically was to challenge, ourselves, to challenge our way of thinking. Yes, to eventually guide or to teach or to give some steps, but mainly is to challenge our norm. Because nowadays we think that the world that we live in is normal, right? Even this very conference, we call it like not the conference itself, but like herbal medicine is often referred as alternative medicine. So we see it as it's not normal, right? So I would like to challenge our attached identity that we have to this modern social model, and also to challenge our conception of reality, and especially of normality. So what is our norm today? So what most of us consider normal today is of course, this educational system that we live in with the pharmaceutical industry, this way of logistically transporting ourselves here and there, this way of consuming and producing. For example, yes, and of course, I would like also to put things into perspective, even like numerically, we live in, of course, this like social Western structure that is very much rational. So let's use number. Humans on Earth, approximately as Homo sapiens sapiens, we've been on Earth for approximately hundreds of thousands of years. Literally, let's say 100,000 years. Yeah. So this modern life that we ended up living nowadays started approximately with the European Revolution. Most of you might know the European Revolution started in the 18th centuries. So, the European Industrial Revolution. It started in the 18th century. So we talk about 200 years ago. And this very globalized model that we see today, like this urbanization, this globalization that we accept as our norm, as the fate of this world, is actually started with the European colonial project 500 years ago. So literally this modern world that we're living right now, first thing that we need to understand, it is nothing else than the byproduct of a colonial project, a European imperialistic, racist, oppressive, and polluting colonial project. This is the first thing that we need to understand. Because if we accept such a reality as normal, then we already can see that our normality cannot be normal. So having said that, these 500 years, to put it still within the numerical perspective, are about 20 generation. So 20 generation is what we have been experiencing within these modern times. And so, one second, a little bit of water. And so here I also have a note that I would like to follow up. And so, hey, my head is spinning, but I'm coming. So what we call development today is actually, I'm wondering if what we call development today is an actual development model, is actually for our benefit, is actually for us to go forward, is for us to see any betterment within our species, internally and also outside. Because in the end of the day, let's see things for what they really are, right? We have great roads, but we are losing our soil. We have a lot of food, but we are losing its nutritional value. We have easy access to water, but we are polluting most of it in the process of getting this water itself. We have great transportation, while we have less grass to walk barefoot on. We have many jobs opportunities, but we have no time to spend within our communities. We have great cities and lots of energy, but we lost the sense of supportive communities. We have a lot of amenities. We have a lot of material things. In the meantime, in order to create this materialistic wealth, we also violated a lot of social integrity and social rights in order to produce them indeed. So on the other hand, not on the other hand, on the same hands also, we have a lot of medicine, but also on the other hand, we have a lot of incurable disease that are coming up within these modern times. And also with all the medicine that we have a lot of cure for a lot of superficial ailments, yet we are still very, very far from healing, the healing of the soul, the healing of the inner self. And so we can clearly see that this type of development is not directly proportional to the well-being of ourselves, and especially of the well-being on Earth, of Earth. Therefore, can we actually call it development? And now we reach also a stage where the climate is changing very, very drastically. Initially, people were like, I'm not sure about climate change. Now it's clear. It's clear. Earth is literally expelling us, and it's happening way quicker than what we expected it to be. Even scientifically speaking, we are seeing it in a very incredibly fast rate. And this is already taking place in many areas. Like we might not see it as when I say we, I say mainly I refer to as a we within the Western context. But in the global South, there's already a lot of issues that are coming up from a climate crisis. There's going to be a huge migration issue that is going to come up from climate crisis. And this is because we've been treating Earth. Everything changes. Everything in life is changing. Also, Earth historically has been changing its weather. But the changes that is taking place right now is not a natural change. This is a drastic, sudden change that is taking place because of this way of development. And so the only way for us to actually have hope, to create a change, is to actually approach a radical change, a change that really affects the roots of the problem, as I was mentioning before. And so what type of development, what type of model we can approach nowadays that are aligned to our basic needs and Earth basic needs? I don't think we need to look for anything new in order to create this model. We just actually have to look to our hundreds of thousands of years of history. And we can see, for example, the Aboriginal people of Australia that I had the chance to meet, to exchange with, that are a model that really allowed them to be aligned with themselves, to be developed internally, outwardly, and also to be aligned with Earth. We have like the Mapuche, the people of the land of South America. We have the Dagara people of West Africa. We have the Maya. We have the Olmec. We have so many different civilization, community, and society that showed us the way, the natural way, a way that could be aligned with ourselves and a way that could be aligned with Earth. And within all of these communities, we can see that all of them are following three principles. I love also our brother from Bali. While I was there, they actually shared with me also their indigenous three principles that they call it Trita Karana, which literally is the same principle that I'm about to share right now, which are three main relationships: the relationship with the land, the relationship with nature, a strong relationship with community, and a strong relationship with the divine. These three components are actually one unique thing that are creating our existence within life. They're creating culture. They're creating an interconnected existence with Earth, and of course also with ourselves. And so we might delve into the details of this triple relationship in another time. Actually, also later on, we're going to also share with you all an e-guide bundle where I wrote much more in details about this matter, and I hope you guys can get it so that you can get much more, details, but also insights. But what I want to share with you today is that it's clear that we need to relocate to a natural environment in order to heal, in order to create this radical action. It's not going to be a radical action of revolution, of a free Congo, free Palestine, free Earth. Oh, let's free our, our animal species. There's always peace and love while sitting down, watching TV, and keep on feeding this polluting system, keep on paying these taxes that eventually are feeding up wars and are creating crazy oppression around the world. It is a revolution of action. No revolution on earth came without action, and no revolution on earth came without sacrifice and came without a struggle, came without a fight. And I'm grateful for this online conference, but don't think that this is going to be the revolution. The revolution is the conference is finished. I have my knowledge, and now in which way I can apply it, in which way I can bring it further and beyond. 1 minute of break, 1 second. Okay.
Take your time, Joshua. No rush. We're here.
Thank you for being here, Abram, supporting the process. So one thing that I love about terminology, I mean, let's be real, English is not the most in-depth language, but I love the connotation between soil and soul, earth and heart. Like, it's very similar. Actually, earth and earth are spelled with the same words. And I believe that there is a very strong connotation at the roots of it. We need to go back to the soil in order to heal our soul. We need to go back to earth in order to heal and to follow our heart. And so to relocate, it will surely not be easy. I mean, even Sister Abril can tell you, many of you have been following Sister Abril for a little while, and her journey surely has not been an easy journey. And there's also degree within this journey of, being in connection to the land. It's surely, I'm not going to romanticize it for you. It's beautiful, don't get me wrong, but I'm not going to romanticize it for you. It is challenging. Every change, there's no change on earth, there's no growth on earth that doesn't require a challenge. You must know if you don't know, I'll tell you the metaphor of the lobster. The lobster grows in its own shell, and then when he grows, he actually outgrows his own shell. So in that case, what he needs to do, he needs to get out of its own shell. In order for it to understand that it needs to create a new shell, and it needs to get out from its own shell, it needs to feel uncomfortable. There's no growth without uncomfortability. So the growth comes with uncomfortability. Uncomfortability kicks in. Okay, I need to get out of this shell. I'm going to feel vulnerable because I'm not going to have my shell. It's going to create a new shell, and eventually is going to develop a new growth. So this to keep in mind, that there's no revolution, there's no change, there's no relocation that will not come without challenges. So the first challenge that we need to face, or the first step that we need to face, is actually not practical. I know that a lot of you are here to hear what to plant, what to put in the land, what to looking for. I will eventually tell you a little bit about it, but the main step is actually none of it. I'm telling you what to plant. All of that is just a consequence of a deeper step. The deeper step is actually the step of detachment. It's literally a philosophical step, and I'm not joking, because I faced it myself. Like, the first step that we need to take care of is detaching. Detaching from what? Detaching from our norm. Detaching from what we think it is our reality. Detaching from our reality in order to embrace a new one, and even detaching from our loved one. This is the hardest for sure. But make no mistake about it, when you're going to be like, hey, I'm going to go and buy a piece of land and live in the middle of nature with my chickens and with my plants, most of your loved one will say, you are fucking crazy. Let's be real. I'm going to be straightforward because it is true. Most of the people will be like, you are crazy, and I'll tell you, you're going to see who's really going to be your friend, who's really going to be next to you, because a lot of people will let you go on your own. So there's also part of the detachment, is that you need to detach also from having to be used to have a lot of people around. I hope it's not going to be a journey of solitude for you, and most likely will not, but be ready for it to be a journey of solitude, because most of the people, not everybody will be ready to walk the path of revolution, but I hope that you guys will be. And this is the first step that it takes. It takes really a lot of courage and a lot of detachment. And so also, another very important path is that another very important point is that you might feel alone, you might feel challenged, but make no mistake about it, your 4 children will thank you. Earth will thank you. And, nowadays, often we hear this talk about ancestors and reconnecting to our ancestors. And especially, I'm aware, a lot of you guys are coming from the States, and reconnecting to your own ancestors might be a bit challenging, because you have such a spread it, and also sometimes unknown ancestry, right? And so what I would like to tell you guys is become that ancestor. Be you that you are listening right now, become that ancestor that you're so eager to meet right now. Become that ancestor so that your four children can have somebody to look up to. They can have a path to follow. My grandmother, my grandfather, they did it. And right now I'm having this piece of land from where I can obtain wealth. You know how big is this? You know how huge is this step? Is richly a revolution of the consciousness. Eventually that express itself eventually physically as well. So another point, I think maybe we're running out of time, but to go, Ebra, we're here.
Yes, I'm here. You have until 10:45. So you're good. Let's just save about 5 minutes for questions. So you're good to go for another 15 minutes.
Okay, cool, perfect. We're almost there. So another very important ingredient, way beyond the physicality of things, of plant, whatever, is actually discipline. So number one, detachment. Number two, discipline. There's no way that we can achieve this journey, this change without discipline. The discipline of constancy, of keep on going, of keep on pushing. Still, of course, listening your body and rest when it's time to rest. In the meantime, discipline is about having it constantly in your mind. Discipline, I would like to talk about discipline like a river. A river starts from a mountain, starts from a spring, and keeps on flowing. And the river will find obstacle, will find deviation, will find evaporation, will find a lot of things. Yet, guess what? The river eventually will arrive in the ocean. So be disciplined, just like the river, constantly. That's your goal. And so after this, we can start touching a little bit the physicality of the matter before going into questions. And so physically, of course, will also take a lot. The number one is that we need to be real. We still live, before we're gonna initiate and embrace this revolutionary way of doing things, of living, of embracing life. We still need to abide within the modern context. And one of the main rules/language of modern times is money. So of course you need a good amount of money in order to purchase land. We need lands on our name so that this greedy capitalists and greedy tentacles from this Western colonialist world are not going to have easy access to the land. So we need to get lands on our name. You need to get land on your name, on your four children, on your children. So you need money in order to do so. Of course, there's different land with different price. If you have already the capital in order to do so, please go and get land as fast as possible. If not, of course, not everybody is capable of just buying land from one day to another, from 1 year to another. So then we need to be cautious with our saving. And in savings, one of the main things is priority, because a lot of time I hear people, I don't have money to do this, I have no money to do that. But in the meantime, my main question is getting land your priority? Literally, what are your priorities? How much money on your account are going to go away for membership, gym memberships, Spotify memberships, apps, games, whatever it might be, clothing? How many shoes do you have? How many shoes do you still buy? How many clothing you have? How many clothing you still buying? How many things you actually possess and you spending your money on that are not actually needed for your life whatsoever? So take all these things out and start to be focused into how much you can save so that this step can come sooner than soon. We really need to tackle these tiny expenses that we think they are very little, but eventually in the long run, in 3 years, you see that I might end up spending, I don't know, literally $5,000 on clothing, or maybe even $10,000 on makeup. So you know how much money people in the United States are spending on makeup, toxic makeup. You know what I mean? I don't have nothing against makeup. Women are beautiful, men are beautiful. If you want to use makeup, you're good. Just be aware of how much money you spend, also on that. I'm talking about these little things because these are the things that literally are going to make the difference in the long run. Trust me. And so keep that one with discipline in your mind. Okay, I'm going to have this goal in this amount of years. I'm going to buy this land. And also, we're going to talk about this later on. I explain much more in the guide, in the ebook. I'm going to touch it very quickly because we don't have enough time. But I believe that we also need to relocate into our ancestral area, meaning that where we actually are from, we should try to relocate in that space. and trying to get land in their reality. Much more details could be provided in that ebooks. Right now, I'm not going to go in details. Maybe if you want to ask, maybe I can try to answer it, but it's going to be quite of an extensive answer. But I just want to say, if you can, try to relocate where your DNA belongs to, because literally physically and scientifically, you're going to get certain knowledge within yourself are going to get much more activated, like literally scientifically speaking, when you are in your native land, especially when we talk about ancestral knowledge. Then when it comes to other actions, another big one that I often hear, oh, actually, I have money, but I don't have enough to buy the size of the land that I would like to buy. Everybody think that you need to have a huge land in order to be self-sustainable. Ask Sister Ebro how much crazy work you need, like as bigger as your land it is, and more work, more struggle, more overwhelming you will be. Keep it simple. Start simple. Like I'm telling you, 1 acre is more than enough. I'm living literally my great-grandparents, they left 7 acre in heritage. For the first 3 years, I've been only in 1 acre. That's all I did. All my work has been done in 1 acre. Right now, I expand into 2 acres because I'm having more people coming. This to say that you will not need a big land. Like literally, more land you will have, more work you will need to do. And if you're not so knowledgeable, it's going to be crazy overwhelming. So keep it simple. Keep the big dream, but take the small land. Then what to look for in a land as well. A few second break, 1 second. A few seconds. So what to look for in a land when you are actually about to buy it. Number one, I would say a body of water. Try to make sure that there is water in the land. It can be a lake, it can be a creek, it can be a river, it can be a natural spring. Water is not going to make the difference. Water is life, so you need water. In case there's no water, then make sure that you have enough in order to create a well. Sometimes the land doesn't require much digging in order to create a well. Maybe 4 meters, 5 meters, you have drinking water. Sometimes you might need a bigger well. In the case you need a borrow, so you need also to consider the money in order to get a borrow. In certain countries, it's not that expensive, but make sure that if you can get a land with water, is even better. Then also the type of soil. If your land is rocky, I mean, rocks are good. Rocks actually, indigenously speaking, the rocks are seen as the bones of earth, as the bones of our ancestors. So there's a lot of internal meaning with rocks. Practically speaking, not much can grow on rocks, of course, right? So a lot of fauna, you want it to grow on soil. So ideally, you want to have a soil that is a good mix between sand and clay. But if it's only clay, it's okay. If it's only sand, it's okay. If it's a bit of rocks, it's okay. But if it's too rocky, it's going to be a bit challenging. But if that's all you got, then you can still work on it. But if you can choose, then try to get something with a soft ground. If it is hard rock, if it's hard soil, like it's not rock, but it's hard, no problem. It means that just needs to have a plan of reforestation, which is also one of the first things that you will need to do eventually. Once you start getting into the land, what is the first thing you need to do? Is a plan of reforestation. Most of the land of nowadays has been deforested because of this model that we are following. So a lot of land has been completely taken out of its natural resources. Even its first soil often is gone. A lot of water also is missing because all this monocropping is getting all the water out of the soil. So the reforestation is the number one thing to do, because number one, the soil is in need of water. The soil is in need of health, and trees are what are going to give health back to the soil. So try to aim for local trees. That's why also your connection to the cultural environment is important, because the local culture will know inevitably what type of fauna is needed in their very land. So try to be planting as much as local trees, but also food trees that eventually will become your own grocery shop, and also medicinal tree that will become your own pharmacy. So in order to do so, of course, you need to understand in what type of environment you live. If you're in the tropics, of course, neem tree can grow very beautifully. Papaya is actually a plant that grows very fast. It's not a tree, it's a plant. Plantain also and bananas are incredibly good for food, but also incredibly good for medicinal purposes, and they're growing also very fast. Also, you want to go for a mango as well. A mango is super great for food, but also for medicinal purposes. Mango leaves are good for asthma, are good for respiratory problems, and also for cough. So there's a lot of local plants that eventually, and trees that eventually you can look into. And also another reason why you should look into planting trees first is because they will take years to grow. And so this will take time. And as they grow, you will see that they will shape the land. And as the land gets shaped, then you can also build accordingly. So as the trees will start growing, then as a second step, you can start doing your building. Natural building, of course, we're talking about clay building, cob building. Cob basically is a mixture of sand, clay, and dry grass that once it becomes dry, like you mix it with water, and once it becomes dry, it becomes like concrete, with the difference that is not polluting during this its making process, and also you can go back to the land with no pollution whatsoever. And it's also moldable, let's say it's more fixable. And also you can use local rocks or local trees in order to build. And as well look into clay tiles that you can make by hand in order to make a roof, bamboo tiles as well in order to make a roof. But overall, you want to still look into a very important principle that I like to call simplicity. Simplicity overall is going to be the new norm that we're going to face in order to create this new world. Because as soon as we're going to go far away from simplicity, then exploitation can come back again in the game. Even though it's your own land, it's your own resources, yet you can still extract much more than what the land can give you. So keep it simple is the number one. And literally, this has become my motto during these years of natural living. Simplicity is the key to prosperity. So keep it simple will be the third priorities next to discipline and detachment. And much more I would need to say, especially also on a practical level, but also on a philosophical level. And what I want to say is that there's going to be an ebook that I just worked diligently on. That's going to be shared eventually on the guide that Eber will tell you more about. But so far, I'm going to leave a few minutes for questions and take it from there.
Awesome. Thank you. I actually have a couple of questions, and I'm sure the people would love to know. You mentioned some of the trees you have growing on your land. Can you speak more to the medicinal herbs? Because we are a herbalism conference. So can you speak more on the medicinal herbs you have growing?
Yeah, so I'm having many different medicinal plants and herb and trees around my land. For example, one of them is that I like to mention right now is tropical oregano. We call it tropical oregano. It is a herb that actually I planted because it's a snake repellent, but also in the meantime is incredibly good for to boost your immune system. So you just plant it around your house, and it gives a very nice fragrance, but not so nice to the snakes, right? But then anytime you're ready, you can also take it and have it as a as a herbal teas, also in your own meals in order to boost your immune system. Also, papaya leaves are bombs when it comes to dengue fever. So having papaya leaves, you try them. One of the worst thing you could ever drink, I'm telling you, but it is very, very good. And papaya grows also very fast. So that's also very great. Also, papaya seeds are very great to kill parasites as well. Is a natural contraceptive, but there's another story. Neem, we worked a lot with neem when you came. Do you remember, bro? We worked with neem in order to make a neem steam. So that one neem is actually coming from the Indian subcontinent many thousands of years ago. It came to the sub-Saharan Africa about 500 years ago, if not 500 years ago. And right now it's been very much included into our herbal recipes. And neem is bomb for, is good for everything, literally. Like you can never go wrong with neem. And also the moringa is the so-called miracle tree, is very good for boosting your immune system, very good for super full of different minerals that are like literally almost like sea moss. Also moringa is one of the trees that's the most amount of minerals and vitamins that the body needs. And the list goes on, of course.
Thank you for mentioning those few of those herbs. Absolutely amazing. I actually just bought me a papaya tree, hoping it stays alive here in Georgia. This is one of the questions in the chat. As far as land, you talked about the pricing. Can you let us know if someone wanted to move to Ghana to purchase land, how much could an acre go in Ghana?
That's a good question. It's something that is changing very drastically all around. Like in Accra right now, I mean, you don't want to get a land in Accra, of course, if you want to relocate naturally. So there are certain lands where, let's say, an average between 7,000 to 15,000 an acre, it can go. You know, it can be also less, depending where you're at.
Expensive, no?
But
Thought it was more. I mean, less.
you thought it was less?
I did in Africa. Yeah, I thought I could get an acre for a few $1,000s. No.
Africa is not Africa. I mean, Africa, I don't know, but Ghana is surely not as cheap as it might sounds like. You can get it for a few $1,000s as well. But the
You
thing
told me
about it is that, yeah, I just try to gatekeep, you know what I mean? No, I'm
that.
kidding. No,
I
no, the
see.
thing is this is that you can definitely get it for less, as I mentioned. The thing is this is that before even thinking to relocate to a place like Ghana, a very cultural understanding of the environment needs to be studied. You know, like you really need to understand how certain things are working. Otherwise, the place will break you apart. Like, not joking. So, saying a conference like this, how cheap something can be, people will be like, "Oh wow, I'm gonna go for it." But before anything, do your research, especially trying to reconnect. That's what I mentioned. That ancestral reconnection is very essential. Otherwise, it will be some issue in the relocation process because sometimes it goes way beyond the affordability of the land. But having said that, yeah, there are certain lands that you can find also for cheaper, like the area where I'm at. But where I'm at is also very, very, very off grid. It's like off grid, like no jokes off grid, you know? Yeah, yeah.
No, we had to take
There's,
motorbikes to his village, to his place. So you had the road, and
there's no
then we had to
car
take a
accessibility.
motorbike for like, 10-15 minutes. I do want to do two more questions. The
Yes.
first question is, did you have any help when you started to build this eco village from your family? And also, can you tell us more about these retreats? Because everyone's asking, they want to come to the
Mhm.
land. And
Mhm.
yeah, I know our retreat was banging. It was amazing. So yeah, let's close with this too.
Yeah, so about help, me personally, I didn't have too much help. I had it very sporadically. Once again, it's also connected to the cultural environment of Ghana that has very little to no reliability. So me personally, I ended up doing a lot of things on my own, which of course is not what I would suggest. Ideally, you need help, and inevitably you'll need help. And once again, had a level of help, not too much, but I'm crazy when it comes to focusness and getting the job done. So in the end, I did what I could, but the help, of course, is something very much needed. If you can move, if you can relocate with help, it's always better. If you cannot find help from the place where you're from, then eventually find it where you're gonna go. And when it comes to the retreats, yes, I've been running these retreats already for quite a few years. It's a way of sharing the practicality of how to grow herbs, how to like a lot of natural food processing, how to make your own coconut oil, your own shea butter. No, sorry, cacao butter, shea butter. Also, we do shea butter, by the way, because we do another collaboration retreat with Abana, with in collaboration to the north, and over there we do shea butter as well. So then we're gonna be doing like even herbal medicine workshops, how to heal broken bones with the herbs, how to heal from malaria or from different diseases completely from herbs. Also, how to do natural building, how to do pottery as well, how to recognize the clay, how to mold the clay, how to bake it in a very traditional and Ghanaian Akan indigenous way. So it's a retreat, generally lasts for 5 days, 1 week, and it's about reintegrating people to the natural environment. And it is, yes, practical, but of course, inevitably, it's very holistic, it's very spiritual. I'm not the one that facilitate, let's say, the spiritual guidance. I prefer let Mother Earth doing the spiritual guidance. Once anybody will be, because it's literally in the middle of nature. So people will get triggered by default. So this very experience will allow people to see also side of themselves and strength and powerfulness that they didn't even know they existed within them. So a full-on reconnection to Earth. And we're going to have a retreat actually coming up in December. It's going to be out on my website soon. Once I'm going to be recovering a little bit. In a few weeks, I should put the dates on. And so you guys can come and join. I'm going to do a retreat in collaboration with Abna. We're going to go actually in the north of Ghana, a beautiful, amazing environment
in the savannah area next to the baobab forest and just be there and learn from the ancestral way. So looking forward.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Joshua. We do have to hop on to the next speaker. We just dropped all of Joshua's links in the chat. The admin came through. We have Joshua's Instagram, his website, his YouTube. Go follow his YouTube channel. He is trying to get those YouTube subscribers up. So follow his YouTube channel. Go on his website. The retreats are there. And also, if you want to learn more about a step-by-step guide on how to do exactly what Joshua mentioned today, he does have a 70-page ebook in the BIPOC Herbalism Resource Collection that will be available to purchase. It's only $29.99. It's going to be available to purchase tomorrow. So thank you so much, Joshua, for showing up 2 days post-surgery. We appreciate the dedication.
I'm glad we made it. I'm glad we made it.
Yes, we did. Please get some rest. Please, please, please. Hopefully we'll see you again in the future. But thank you. Much gratitude.
All right. Take care, guys. All the best.